Some shiny Pokemon suck. They take a normal Pokemon's colours, change them up a bit, and in some cases, make the Pokemon look terrible. And today, on the 19th of January, I'm going to count down what I think are the 10 worst looking shiny Pokemon. Obviously it goes without saying that this list is completely my opinion, and based solely on my tastes, so there's a decent chance that your least favourite shiny Pokemon might not be on the list. And because there are so many awful shinies worth talking about, before we get to the actual list, here are some dishonorable mentions. Mega Charizard X, the shiny sucks. Ursaring, the shiny sucks. Mamoswine, the shiny sucks. Malamar, the shiny sucks. Barbaracle, the shiny sucks. Helioptile and Heliolisk, why do they look sunburnt? Hooper, the shiny sucks. Volcanion, the shiny sucks. Tranquil, it doesn't look well. I'm sorry, Infernape. Grimmsnarl, its Gigantamax form shiny is cool. The regular form though, sucks. Typhlosion, it gets a mention just because its Gen 2 shiny was so much better. Butterfree and Kecleon, because the fake shinies are much better than what they got. And finally, Arceus, because the god of all Pokemon should not have a shiny this underwhelming. Also, there's one other thing I want to say. I will not be including any shiny forms on the list that barely change from the original. Not only is that extremely overdone, but if I included one shiny that just looks the same as the original, then I'd have to include them all. But not only that, even though these non-changing shinies don't really look any different from the original, at the very least, they don't really look any worse than the original. These 10 shiny Pokemon on the other hand, let's just take a look. Here are what in my opinion are the 10 worst shiny Pokemon in the game so far. Number 10. Shiny McCargo. You know what's a great shiny? Not this one obviously. Slugma. Giving it a dried magma look works so well, but instead of this, McCargo decided, screw that, I want to be pink! Now there's nothing wrong with pink shinies. Celebi is an amazing pink shiny for example, and McCargo in my opinion is not. A simple fix to this would be, obviously, giving it Slugma's shiny colours, and it's already leaps better. Maybe change up the shell as well, and something like this would be a great shiny. If only it was the shiny. But no, we're stuck with this McCargo. I will give it this. It's not the worst pink shiny out there, but it's definitely far from the best. Number 9. Shiny Sizzle. Talk about a shiny that looks leagues worse than the original. Red works so perfectly on Sizzle, it's kind of hard to imagine another colour working anywhere near as well. And one of those colours is not lime green. Sure, it does become closer to Scyther's original colours, but the shade of green they use also isn't close to Scyther's. If it was more like this shade, then Shiny Sizzle probably wouldn't be on the list, since this is actually kind of decent. Other possible colours would be a nice blue, going with the Braviary route. Keeping Sizzle red and slightly changing the small parts might have been okay as well, although not amazing. My personal favourite, however, would be giving a metallic coat with green accents. This gives the look that Scyther is getting its own Iron Man-like suit, becoming the Steel-type Scizor, but unfortunately, the palette swaps have failed us yet again. I have heard some people thinking lime green works good on Scizor, but I am not one of those people. Number 8. Shiny Machamp. This is one of the most sickening green shinies I've ever seen. Why people would choose to use this look of Machamp over the normal version is beyond me. If Machamp had some sort of blue accents like Shiny Machoke has, it probably wouldn't be nearly as bad. Now I'm all for making green shiny Pokemon, as long as the green either looks nicely on the Pokemon, or the shade of green isn't putrid and actually looks good. If Machamp was closer to, say, this green, I wouldn't mind it nearly as much. Alternatively, making it a completely different colour like purple for example, would look much better as well. I'll give Shiny Machamp this. The shiny Gigantamax form pulls off the green pretty well, much better than the regular form anyway. Too bad the regular form is still one of the most sickening things to look at in my opinion. Number 7. Shiny Solgaleo. Why did they think it was a good idea to make this thing bright red? Not even a red tint, since that would have actually been okay. Bright, popsicle, sunburnt red. Now they did a somewhat similar thing with Shiny Lunala. But Lunala pulls off these colours really well in my opinion, making a giant bat an almost blood red colour. That's great. This though, I don't know why they thought this was a good idea. The only change that I liked about the shiny is the added purple. So instead of making the entire body a super unfitting bright red, continuing the purple by tinting the body that way, I think would have worked much better. I also think not changing the colour of the body was needed that much at all. So having the shiny only changing the accents, and having something like this, would have worked so well. Much better than the current shiny anyway. Even though this shiny in my opinion sucks. I mean, at least it isn't green, right? Number 6. Shiny Farfetchd. Ah yes, let's give Farfetchd the rubber duck treatment. That'll look great on it. Usually I have a soft spot for yellow shinies. Azumarill and Meowstic for example, I think are extremely underrated, and look great with yellow coats. Shiny Farfetchd on the other hand just sucks. This is not a Pokemon that looks good in yellow. Now an obvious save for the shiny would be to, well, not make it yellow. Blue works well, or even better. Or even giving it Farfetchd colours. I would have 100% been on board with this shiny. Another great idea would have been to keep the body the same colour, and instead change the colour of the weapons. This matches the colours of the mascot legend for example. I would have happily taken any of these over what we actually got. I thought Galarian Farfetchd shiny was disappointing, but at least it didn't look worse than the original. Number 5. Shiny Camo. Ugh, what a mess you turned out to be. A horrible limeish yellowish green for the body, combined with pink accents. I will admit, it looks pretty decent on Jangmo-o. Not so much Hakamo-o, and definitely not on Camo-o. The pseudo-legendaries of the region are supposed to be these awesome, strong-looking creatures, and this colour combination kind of makes it look like a joke. A couple of possible fixes I'd try out would be leaving the body the same colour and changing the scales. Red or blue I think would work much better, although to be honest, almost anything would have worked much better than what we got. Poor thing. You didn't deserve this treatment, Camo-o. You really didn't. Number 4. Shiny Crobat. Oh dear, what the hell happened to you, Crobat? You used to look so cool. Your colour scheme was already great. And now you're bright pink with snot green wings. You know how some animals are born without hair and they're just like this bright reddish pinkish colour? That's what Shiny Crobat reminds me of. The palette swapping gods were not kind to you. I have a few easy fixes for this shiny. One I probably wouldn't go for but still looks much better than what we got, is the colour scheme of Shiny Zubat and Golbat, although I made the green a slightly nicer shade. Already a massive improvement. Next up, I swapped Crobat's actual colours around. Ended up looking a bit weirder than I thought, but still much better than the actual shiny. And finally, the shiny I wish we got, taking the original colours of Zubat and Golbat. This would have been an amazing shiny, that would have possibly appeared on another list. But alas, Crobat wasn't very lucky when receiving its shiny, and for this, Shiny Crobat will forever remind me of a newborn mole. Number 3. Shiny Mismagius. What on earth is this disgusting, putrid, repulsive, nauseating, vomitous excuse of a shiny? It literally looks like they took regular Mismagius and dragged it through a sewer. There was a point where I was considering Mischievous to be on the list instead, but then I took a good look at this mess, and it made Shiny Mischievous look great in comparison. It did not take very long at all for me to come up with a much better looking shiny. I tried to avoid making black shinies for the video, but here it works way too well. Any of these would have looked great. Like, look how cool Shiny Mismagius could have been, compared to this. My god. Mismagius, you didn't deserve this. You really didn't. Number 2. Shiny Nidoqueen. For years, I considered this to be the absolute worst shiny Pokemon in the game. Not only do these colours work horribly on Nidoqueen, but it ruins what could have been a great shiny line. The idea of taking two Pokemon of different yet similar lines and swapping their colours around is a great idea. And it was going swimmingly until we get to Shiny Nidoqueen. Now I know that the devs or even Nidoqueen isn't to blame for this, and it just turns out that Nidoqueen's shade of blue is slightly different enough for it to get completely different colours compared to its prevos due to the palette swaps. But I still feel like Game Freak could have corrected this, like how they've changed other shinies in the past. And as for what shiny Nidoqueen should look like, that's pretty obvious. Look how much better this would have looked, as well as continuing a great shiny line. But no. If you were to ask me who I thought the worst looking shiny Pokemon was about a week or so ago, Nidoqueen would have easily been my answer. But after recently looking up every shiny Pokemon for this video that we know about so far, there is one that I personally think just beats Nidoqueen shiny as the worst shiny in the game. So let's get this over with. And my pick for the absolute worst shiny Pokemon is... Well, actually, before we get to that, let's quickly take a look at a couple of good shinies. Both Coughing and Wheezing go from purple with a greyish gas colour to a nice greenish turquoise shade with purple gas. Two very solid shinies. Now you would think that the Galarian form of Wheezing would follow a similar colour scheme, or even maybe take on Wheezing's original colours, like an actual good shiny. But no. Instead, Game Freak decided, instead of any of that, they would take Galarian Wheezing's shiny form and make it look like this. This is sh**. Why? Why would they choose this over two blatantly better color combinations that make so much more sense? Hell, here's another possible shiny I just came up with. Took me about 5 minutes to do this, and it already looks a million times better than the real shiny. Why would they choose something this dull? Is it supposed to be like a chimney? Is that what they were going for? Because if they were, it still looks awful. And the worst part about this shiny is that they chose these colours. Nidoqueen shiny is bad, like really bad, but at least that was a palette swap, so Game Freak wasn't to blame there. Here on the other hand, they took Galarian Wheezing, upped the saturation a bit, and voila! What a disappointment. It looks terrible, there are plenty of other options they could have gone with, and the fact that they chose this to be the shiny just makes it all the more disappointing. I don't see this being a lot of people's least favourite shiny, since it is one of the newer ones, but with all those factors taken into account, for me, this is currently my least favourite shiny in the game, and until we see something worse, it's probably gonna stay like that. So before I go, there's a couple of things I quickly want to say. First off, you hopefully know that today I uploaded not one, but 2 videos. This one is obviously my 10 worst shiny Pokemon, and the other one is my 10 best shiny Pokemon. So if you want to see the opposite video, please go check it out. Second thing, if you didn't already notice, my channel now has a join button. Now obviously becoming a channel member is not required, and you'll still be able to watch all my videos for free, but just in case you wanted to support the channel a bit more, this is now an option. Member benefits include having your name in the videos, access to member-only polls and posts, and best of all, a badge next to your name anytime you comment on one of my videos. These awesome badges were drawn by an awesome artist called Dena, so if you're in the need for any video game art commissions, emotes, or even cool shirts to wear, just look how freaking cool this shirt is. It's also super comfy as well. Then please do consider checking Dena's stuff out. All her links will also be in the description. I'll be posting my future upload schedule as a member-only post soon, to give you guys who choose to join something to look forward to. I do plan to try and be a bit more consistent in 2020, but we'll see how it goes. And until then, if you did enjoy the video, please do leave a like as it does really help out. Subscribe for more Pokemon content in the future, and until next time, thank you so much for watching.